Hey guys, what's up? This is Tanner with Vivid Detail Service. Today we're going to be showing you how to put paint protection film on the inside of the door here. And what that's going to do is protect this. If you've ever had a truck, you know getting in and out, your boots or your shoes are going to scratch this and scrape it and eventually wear the paint off on these high spots here. So not a good look, not something you really want. So best option is to put PPF on it. That's going to be a nice durable solution where you can scuff it up and scratch it all you want and you're not going to damage the paint. So yeah, let's get started. What I have here is just a scrap piece. I saved these pieces from my larger jobs. They come in handy for stuff like this. If you're going to use a scrap piece, what you want to do is make sure that both sides are cut the same length and that they're placed generally in the same area so that it looks uniform with the whole vehicle. They don't have patterns for these inside doors, but you can, get pieces that are more straight or cut them more straight for that. So we're going to prep the surface with our solution here. You want to make sure that there's no lint on the surface or any other debris, any grease, anything that's going to get underneath the film and keep it from adhering to the surface of the paint. So we're just going to go ahead and squeegee that off. Then we're going to take our tack solution and we're going to give it a nice spray with the tack solution. Oh, my bottle's almost out. There we go. And the reason I'm using tack solution rather than slip is because this is a very intricate area. You have a lot of valleys, a lot of higher spots. So to make sure that I get those valleys really to stick and grab in there, tack solution is the best thing to use to make sure that when you lay it down the first time it stays where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and spray the film with the tack. I should have filled up my bottle beforehand. This is preparation at its finest. Okay, so we've got the film. I'm going to take the straight edge that I have here, and I'm going to place it right up against the top inside corner. Get it as straight as I can, where I want it there. Then I'll take my slip solution and spray the outside of it. So now that I'm at this point, you want to make sure that you start at the top and work your way down. That's going to let the film form to the kick panel here the best and get any wrinkles or fingers out of it. If you were to go side to side, you're probably going to get more wrinkles in it. You're going to have to fight the film a lot more rather than just working with the form of the inside here. So that's what we want to do, is we want to work with these lines, not fight against them. So I like to start in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and lock down my middle here, squeegee that out, make sure it's nice and tight. And then what I do is I pick up the film because it likes to stick to these high spots. And I'm just going to work to the outside edge here. Make sure I get out all the bubbles. That side. Great. So we got the top done. You want to make sure there's no bubbles in it, that your back edge is nice and flat. There we go. So now I'm going to work on this next high spot here. I'm just going to squeegee along the top of the high spot. Now this middle section can be pretty tricky because you have two high spots and you're trying to get down in there and make sure that the film really sticks in there. So what we're going to do is start in the middle. I'm going to roll my squeegee over the edge and bring it all the way down and push it out. So now I know that middle is very locked in. There's no bubbles in it. And then what I like to do on this next part, I'm just going to use my fingernail. It's round, it forms to this really nicely. You could use a hard card like this with your tape on there. Either way works, or you can just use your regular squeegee. I like to use my nail because it really forms to that crease and I can make sure that I get all the bubbles out. So just start here, push it all out there. Now, I don't know if you can see in the camera, there are some bubbles, so I just work those out with my squeegee. Push them down to the next edge. And same thing on this side. See, so as we go down, you can see the film wants to wrinkle, but instead of fighting it, we're working with the body of the truck. Want to make sure you get your bubbles out early. The longer the film sits and has time to cure, and the adhesion on the film sits and bonds to that surface, it's going to be really hard to get those bubbles out. And that's when you have to come back with a syringe or a needle and work at those. So if you constantly go over your film after the initial laying of it and you just keep working it out, you'll notice that a lot of bubbles are going to come out that you don't see with your eye. Especially on lighter paint like this. On white paint, it's very hard to see with the eye. Sometimes those really tiny bubbles. So going over it a bunch of times really ensures that you get a lot of those bubbles out early, so you're not fighting it later. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work this next edge here. And again, we're just going to lock that edge down. Just like that. Now you can see the film is stretched. So that's okay, because as we push it down, it'll work out that stretch. It'll form to that. But if we were going this way, this would turn into a crease. And that'd be very hard to work out if you were going this way. So again, I'm going to roll my squeegee down the side. Push it all the way down. Now, a cool trick here that I've learned is if you keep your squeegee at an angle like this, kind of keep it down toward the bottom here, and you just seesaw it back and forth across that top part. That really helps keep you from getting any air bubbles or water trapped in there. You just kind of rock it back and forth. Okay, same thing on this side. Just rock it. Keep the bottom of it touching the bottom of the crease. And voila. Very nice. So, got it done. You want to go over it. Make sure you don't hear any bubbles in it. Don't feel any bubbles. Oh, see? Even though I went over that a few times, there's a couple bubbles trapped in it. Now you can hear them because they kind of sound like I don't know, like a zipper. They make a little zzz noise as you push them out. And that's the water coming out. So that's a good sound. That means that you're getting your bubbles out. And then you're not leaving any air trapped behind or water trapped behind. Now, if you do miss bubbles, that's okay. Like I said, you can always go back with like a syringe, or I have this fancy pen. It's not on me right now, but it's a pen with a very sharp point. You can go in and release those air bubbles and push them back down, as long as they're not too large. So that's why we really want to make sure in this process we try. See, I've got a big bubble stuck there. We try to get all the bubbles out early so we don't have to fight them later. Okay, then we take our towel. Just gonna dry this off. And drying it off really helps too, because now I'm able to see some of the air bubbles that I might have missed. I'm gonna take my hard card. Just work at those. Now, sometimes too, if your film is lifting, like in this areas on the end, they might lift a little bit because there's a lot of tension in the film right here. It's wanting to pull this way out toward each of these edges. So if you just use your finger, your thumb, hold it on there for 5-10 seconds, the warmth of your body helps that adhesive to cure a little bit faster and dry it out and stick to the body. So it really just helps hold it down. If you're really having a hard time with some edges, you can use an adhesive promoter like I use Pro Bond, and you can put that in there and really get it to just buckle down and stick. So, all right, now that that's all done, we're going to take our blade here, and we're going to cut along the bottom here. If we were to leave this hanging over this edge, not quite this much film, but even just a little bit of film, a lot of times if you leave it hanging over an edge, it's a lot easier for dirt and debris and other things to get up inside of that and start to lift the film. And then if you let it go too long, eventually you just have to replace the piece. So to avoid that, we want to cut it back far enough that it's not going to have that it's not going to be as easy to get debris under there. So I like to cut it along this line here. You can cut it right on the edge, or maybe up here even. Want to make a nice straight cut, not applying too much pressure, just enough to score the film. You're not actually looking to cut through the film. You're just trying to score the top of it, kind of like a perforated edge on a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper. Just want to give it some direction to tear. There you go. Okay. And that is it. We are going to give you a closer look here. So as you can see, film is basically invisible. You can't even really tell where the line is in the camera. It's right here. So it's very nice, gives it a nice clean look, protects that paint there, keeps it nice looking over the years. So very nice to offer that to your customers. It doesn't take much time. It's very easy to do, and you could charge anywhere from $50-$100 per door to do this. But yeah, that's how you do that install. It can be a little tricky with these edges, but like I said, if you start at the top and follow those curves, makes it a lot easier. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you hit subscribe on my channel, and more videos to come in the future of how to and just tips on detailing in general and applying film and other things like that. So thanks for watching.